Okay, so let's just start. I'm just going to run a simulation on this and see what happens, see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to drop a bullet solid, just plug it in. Let's we won't do the reverse gravity thing yet. I just want to kind of see how it falls apart, highlight any issues. So just drop a ground plane there. Let me turn this 3D thing off. I don't know why the visualizer doesn't go until you do that. Okay, and then just press, let's do a time shift on that. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So not bad, nothing, I'm looking for things kind of popping or jumping or, getting stuck together. But it's kind of piling up nicely. The tiles sliding off, that looks really cool. In terms of the model, so, all these planks are separate, the tiles. The one thing obviously that we need to sort is these big pieces. They need to be fractured up just a little bit. I don't, I'm not fussed on having them kind of cracked up to really small pieces. We got lots of detail in here already. So let's take a look at doing that. So yeah, we need to identify all of these pieces and measure them all, see which ones are big and which ones are small. There's reverse normals there. Let's just see if we can just drop a normal node on that, see if that fixes it. No, never mind. But I'll leave that there. It looks a bit tidier anyway. So we drop a connectivity SOP. That gives us, basically gives us this class attributes that looks at each individual object. Okay, it's the same, when you go to that 3D viewer thing. If we look at the class, it'll be a similar kind of thing. It'll just give you a integer for each. Let me just make this smaller. Should be there. Where are you? On the points. There it is, yeah. So we just got an integer for each piece. So we've got 2,689 pieces there. And what we want to do is measure each of those pieces. So here we're not doing per element, which would be per primitive. We want to do per piece. And we use that. You can see that this is built to, they're built to go together already. We got that class attribute, so it's looking at each piece and telling us how big are you. And then we can visualize that as well. So if we do an exploded view, maybe we'll get a better sense of it. See, so the red pieces are bigger. So if I want to split out the big pieces. Oops. So we're generating that area attribute in here. We can find it on the primitives, that area. Okay, and then just get a sense of the size, 157 to pretty much 20. Right, so we can use that. It's on the primitives, was it? Yeah. So at area is bigger. Is bigger than 1. Let's try that. Put that exploded view down again. So still getting, I don't want to break up these panels, I don't think, or I feel like there's still some small pieces there. Let's try 0.5. There we go. So that looks good. And now we'll do a Voronoi fracture on these. So I'll drop a scatter. Connect that up. And we'll drop this down to like 50. Get a Voronoi fracture. Points into the right. And that into the left. Okay, we'll turn that viewer back to, let's look at the name attribute now that the Voronoi will create. Drop an exploded view. Okay, to get a sense of the size of these. So that looks okay. We still got big chunks. I still want big pieces, to contrast with all the smaller details. But this will look better, definitely. Let me move those over. Okay, and then we can merge everything back together. Okay, just swap them. We don't need to, it's just a visual thing that kind of annoys me. So that's great. Maybe we can simulate that again and see how that looks. If the you know, if it takes a long time for you to flipbook this, then don't worry about doing it every time. You can just watch mine, but it doesn't take too long for myself. So you can see here the smaller pieces, they don't have a name attribute, but the bigger pieces do. So that's why you can see they're all in a funny color there. So if we assemble this, we'll give a name attribute to all of them. Just like that. You see the difference there? So that's changed in color now, and that should simulate. Right, so just stopped it there because we didn't need to go on much longer. So working fine, I'm sure you agree. Just collapses down. But what I'd like to do now is do some clustering so we get some more interesting shapes. You know, it'd be nice to have like some tiles stuck together so they're not all completely individual, and some tiles stuck to pieces of the frame next to them, and so forth. So we get some kind of right angle shapes, and you know, now they're all basically rectangles or, you know, squares. So let's get that cluster attribute. Sorry, cluster sop. So RBD cluster. We'll do this after the assemble, I think. Yeah, so we need that name attribute. So we do it after it's based on the name attribute. You can see it, there we go, that changed there. And we can see the clusters. But you know, I don't, you know, think about all of these tiles being stuck together. It doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to push up this detach ratio a bit so we get a bit more single tiles falling off. So I think that should look better. Again, we can use that exploded view to see each individual piece, so that we start to get, you know, more interesting pieces like this yellow one here, and we got a piece of the frame with it as well. But we still got lots of, you know, individual little pieces as well. So that would be good. Okay. We don't need to watch the simulation for that. You can go ahead and do that, but I won't bother. So yeah, we'll continue in the next video.